It would be fun, huh? Oh,
Fun?
fun.
What are you talking
what
about?
is fun? What is fun? Well, you know what's fun?
Yes. What?
Happy anniversary to us.
Yes. Do you guys know what today is? 100. 100.
The 100th episode.
Can you believe that? When we first started.
No. I know. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the first time that we started, I was so nervous. I told Liz, I don't do this stuff. And she said, yes, you do. I said, no, I don't know. And she said, yeah, we need to do this. You could do this, friend.
We
you
can do it.
well, I knew you could. I was the one in question. But we can, and I've gotten a little more comfortable.
Yes,
I have gotten a little bit more comfortable.
Maybe we've gotten a little more goofy and silly too.
Good. So, I have all kinds of people that I talk to, and they say, we love watching Village Vibes. You guys always make us laugh.
Good.
And I said, that is great, because there's nothing better than laughter.
I think that should always be our number one goal. Make somebody laugh.
And if we ever
teach you something, that's just
bonus. We can't promise, but we'll give it a try.
Laugh with us. And we know there's a lot of you who watch later because this isn't a good time for you.
Right.
But that's such the beauty of technology is you just fit it around your schedule, right?
You just can.
So, but watching live is super fun, and we sure appreciate when you join us and comment.
Yes,
so please, today, while we're talking, please comment if you guys have any ideas or thoughts. So,
I try every once in a while to have an idea, but then you go through a doorway and it's just lost.
It is.
So we need to have some kind of a giveaway.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm. And do you see? I forgot I was going to wear my shirt, but it's down on the clothesline downstairs, and so I didn't run down and grab it. We think that we need to give away a Village Dry Goods shirt.
Yes,
we think that would be a great prize to give away. So what's our contest, Miss Liz?
Well, I think they need to comment on this post with what we're going to talk about.
That is a great.
So
okay,
you have a week. Well, till next Monday evening. You need to comment before Monday evening. Mm-hmm. So that gives us some time. Let's say Monday by noon. Okay, great.
By noon.
Monday noon.
Because then that gives you half a second in the afternoon before you've got to make dinner and do family stuff in the evening with your kiddos.
To get it all worked out.
To get it all put together.
Okay, so you need to comment.
Monday.
At noon Utah time. And then we'll pick a winner and you can win a shirt.
Yes.
So,
yes. And they're nice shirts.
They're really nice.
So
and they wash up great. I've washed mine, I don't know how many times. And
a bajillion.
I feel like you can't really tell.
I know.
This is like a little bit more of like a distressed look anyway. So if you feel like it's distressed, this is the way we actually designed it.
We did. It's lovely. So, and you guys see where we are today?
I don't know. Can you tell where we are?
Well, we're not in the Village Dry Goods store. We're at the Village next door. Oh my gosh. So we've actually done 2 events in here since last week.
Oh, since last week.
Since last week. Mm-hmm. We did our auction, which was so fun. And Erin did do a little bit of a live for us. So you can always bounce on and look at what that was. But our friend Rudy does our auction for us. He does an amazing job. Actually, you know what? I just sent out my newsletter.
Yes,
I
scheduled
saw that. Did you see it went out?
It went out.
Well, I hope I spelled things right because I changed a couple of little words in there. And my spelling's not my strong suit. But anyway, so we had our Village Bucks auction on New Year's Day. And Saturday, my Quilt Guild met in here.
Oh, that's right.
It was so nice. So I've kind of moved tables around a little bit in here since Saturday because I need to see for our classroom where I really want to put the tables and how many sets of tables I can get in here and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty excited about, they're almost done. We have a little bit of painting and okay, guess what I just was thinking about this morning?
What?
So we had to do that ramp because it's one step down.
Yep, didn't work.
No, I about killed my own old self. So I said, oh, Chad, that's not going to work. He said, let's get that ramp back in there. I think I'm going to paint a Lemoyne star on that ramp.
Oh, good idea.
Don't you think that'd be cool?
Yeah.
I might have to do that. I have to
really
talk
cool.
to Chad and find out if that's a good idea or not.
We'd have to seal it somehow really well, don't you think?
Yeah, but I don't want it to be slippery.
You don't want it to be slippery or be deceptive of what it is, like it's that you need to walk down and, like mess with your eyes kind of thing.
Yeah. I'll draw it out, lay it on there. We'll see what
we think.
But we might. I know.
There's got to be a way.
There's got to be a way.
We'll
figure it out.
So Joe commented, "Good morning, my favorite ladies."
So thank you, Joe, sweet lady. We appreciate that. Anyway, so they've got a little bit of painting to do in here. We got to finish up with the ramp and handles on the door. You got to put my slat wall back up over there.
They've got to finish a little bit in the bathroom. Just a little patching and a little
bit of painting around here
there.
Mm-hmm.
But this
do you know what? If you ever need it, the urinal's in the basement.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell anybody. That's where it is, though, because I'm not
if we ever install something in Ken's shop, I'll come get that, and we can install that in Ken's shop.
You better talk to Chad about it, because I just paid to remove it, so I don't know that it's mine. But if Lori's got, Lori might have gotten rid of hers
that was in her,
because she tried to make Stan take it. We're like, nope, we're not doing it. Let's see who's coming to say hi. Hi, Cameron. How are you? Look at all those tools set out right there.
We're live on Facebook.
Say hi. This is our Chad's son. This is my Cameron that I've known since he was just a little tiny dude, and now he's a way tall dude. But they're just doing such an amazing job for us. Thank you, sweetheart.
Good morning.
You too.
Good morning, Marianne. How are you doing?
Good morning, Marianne in Florida.
Yeah. So I think maybe next week we'll do another little tour. There's still a lot going on. They're still working in the back. In fact, the reason why we're over here is because they're working on our back porch next door, and it was loud. So I thought, let's come over here. It's a little bit more quiet, and I think we might be here often.
Yes, I think this is a great place, because if we run a minute after 10 o'clock, then there aren't customers coming in and out of the door, and it's so nice to have another space.
And when I walked in here today, I thought the lighting is so good.
Isn't it going to be
so
great
it's going to be great for classes when you're sewing. It's going to be awesome.
And we had them put a lot of plugs along both sides of the walls for our tables,
which I enjoyed for my computer. I thought, I can plug in here. I can plug in here.
I can plug in here. I have all the plugins. Yeah. So it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
It's been a process, and I think the holidays maybe slowed things down just a tiny bit, but it's been good. It's been really good. It's been good. So
we are very close. But what did we really want to talk about today, Miss Lizzie?
Well, and I brought this up last week, which, by the way, I'm so glad to be back with you for Village Vibes.
Thank you.
We've had a really funky, about 6 weeks.
We've had a little bit of,
people have been sick. You were sick one time. You needed to be with your husband. I was sick. It's just been a little bit funky. Yeah. So we're glad to be back. Starting our 100th episode off
the right way.
So
the very right way.
So last week I was by myself. So I commented about setting a goal and how important it was for me as a new quilter. And so I've got a couple of ideas. I've written a whole bunch of notes. And Fran hasn't even seen these, but
I haven't. So it's all fun and new for me.
I think personally, for me, I have to set something that's simple and attainable. I can't say I'm going to finish 52 quilts this year. There's just that, for me, that's not. Now, there may be some of you that could do that, but for me, that's not it. And for me, my thought process behind it was to make it super simple so it wasn't overwhelming.
Yes.
And I decided to focus on my goal for a year. Now, you could choose 3 months, you could choose 6 months, depending on what works for you. But the very first one I did, and I said this last week, so sorry for those of you who I am repeating myself, but I did a 1/4 inch. So I just focused on my 1/4 inch seam for a year.
That's a good one.
I worked on some new marking techniques on my machine. I worked on a new foot. I worked on a few little things, very simple, but it wasn't like a huge overwhelming thing. It was just a little thing that I focused on for a long time, and it worked.
And the thing with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so sometimes we're sewing on different machines, right? Some of us have featherweights, some of us have different embroidery machines and different da-da-da-da-da-da. And I've heard people constantly say to me, well, I can't start this project on a different machine. Yeah, you can. All you have to do is just have that 1/4 inch on all your machines. So like if you need to move your needle, maybe 1 click to the right or 1 click to the left on one of your machines to make sure it still is, just make sure you know where your 1/4 inch is on each of your machines, and then you can use all 3,000 like I have.
Yes. You can. It was interesting. So I had a machine that my mom bought me when I graduated from college, and it was a great machine. It still is a great machine. But I started quilting on it, and I really struggled with my 1/4 inch on that machine. Okay. And I think I was a new enough quilter. I didn't realize all the tools that were available to me. I just didn't realize all the things. So anyway, I got a new machine, nailed down my 1/4 inch. And years later, like I think just barely last year, so we're probably talking 8 years later, I pulled that machine back out because my girls needed to sew something. And as soon as I looked at that, I had totally forgotten. I had markings everywhere, and I could tell I was really trying to get my 1/4 inch, and I never did get it dialed in on that machine.
Perfect on
but
that one.
So that does make a little bit of a difference. But now I know there's so many more tools. There's marking tape. There's feet you can buy. And I don't think I realized all of that at the time. Right. But my new machine, I'm dialed in, and I have 2 machines that are really similar, so I know I can go back and forth on those. So the 1/4 inch was the very first one I did. The next year I did accurate cutting.
Good job.
And so again, it was something I practiced whenever I was at my cut table. I found a brand of rulers that I loved. I worked really hard on just cutting. So again, something simple. I focused on it for a full year.
And here's the thing about focusing on that, excuse me, for the whole year. Repetition. If you're doing something and you're doing it over and over and over and over again, that's going to stick in your brain.
Yeah.
Just like your 1/4 inch seam. Now I know exactly what I'm doing with that. So I'm going to just sit down. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Same thing with your cutting. I've got to make sure that my ruler, the lines on my ruler,
it makes a
difference. It does, especially if it's something where you've got a lot of points that are going together, or it's small. Small is amazing, but if you're doing tiny, which we're going to have Tiny Club again.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, we're excited. In fact, I think it's the 3rd Monday of every month. Our friends Joy and Sue are going to do the class for us over here. But anyway, if it's smaller, we think, oh, it's just little. You have to be more accurate. The smaller your piecing is, you don't. No. And so sometimes you can't stretch it, or you can't smush it in.
There's no space to do it.
No, so you got to be a little more accurate with that. So very important to use a good ruler skills, good 1/4 inch skills. You're so smart.
Yeah. So then
the next year,
I try.
You are important.
I try.
And you are beautiful.
I kind. All the things, right? So then the next year, I think I had been sewing long enough, and I just had racked up some UFOs. So I just focused on UFOs.
I don't have any of those.
And it really helped me focus on what I bought, because I was actually very excited to finish what I had. So I didn't buy a lot, and I really focused on that, and I did really good. I accomplished that goal. I did really well.
Girl.
But I've had to have that a couple of times. A couple of my yearly projects have had to be UFOs.
I could have it every year till I die and still not be done.
But I thought, depending on how overwhelming these things, because remember, we're thinking simple and attainable.
Because here sometimes, and I don't know about you, but here's what I do. When I set these big lofty goals for myself, and then I screw up and I miss the first one, then it's like, oh well,
then you just give
never
up
mind.
So that's not going to help.
No, so don't do that.
So one idea I had with UFOs is maybe just finish your oldest UFO.
Or maybe finish your favorite.
Oh, there you go.
UFO. Because sometimes some of those old ones that I have, I might not even still want to do those.
Yeah.
And if I don't,
I
need to.
Okay.
And it is okay. You know what? Years and years ago, I read an article by this guy that just used to make me laugh hysterically. And he actually said, oh, I'm so sorry. He actually said, hey, Cupcake, if it doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. And some of those things don't bring me joy anymore.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And it is okay. So maybe look at some of your UFOs and be like, oh, I really love that one. I'm going to get it out and I'm going to finish it. Because then it will kind of spur you on to finish some of the other ones, I think, that are in there too.
So again, not all the UFOs in the world, but just one thing. And the other idea I thought of for UFOs is maybe with a friend, and I know some guilds do this, they have kind of UFO challenges or UFO contests.
Yes.
So maybe if you don't want to do something, just kind of set a goal with a friend and say, we're going to do 2, or whatever, or let's set a day and you sew on your UFO and I'll sew on my UFO.
So our quilt guild, we actually say at the beginning of the year how many UFOs we think we're going to finish in the year, right? Well, I just pretty much do. And you give $1 for every. It's amazing to me what some people will do for $1.
To finish.
Me, I just donate my dollars. but maybe give yourself $1 amount, or maybe give yourself a day at a spa if you finish.
That's the other idea I thought of. Come up with a reward for yourself.
A reward for yourself, and it doesn't. Maybe it shouldn't be
go buy another project.
But you could, if that's what you want for your goal. That would be a lovely
set
thing.
Something up. Set a reward system.
Yes, because we all love to be rewarded. For our hard work. Yeah.
So let me just double check. Okay, I want to. Landa says, "Hello, Mama Fran,
sweet Landa.
And love the new space." Okay, so if you guys have any ideas, as we're talking of goals that you might set, goals that you think would be a good idea for someone else that you don't want to do. So comment and we'll share them, because I've got a whole list, but we want to hear your ideas.
Yes, we do. Yes,
so
we do.
Then one year I decided that I wanted to learn how to machine bind and finish my binding on my machine. And I felt like it's a learned skill.
Yes, it is.
My first couple were not my favorite. But I also thought, out of anything on my entire quilt, that would be a thing I could unpick and redo.
Absolutely.
And so my very first one I did for a quilt for my trailer. And I thought, you know what? If it bugs me, I can unpick it.
There you go.
Oh, hello.
Hi,
There's our sweet Ethan out there walking. It's 25 degrees.
And it's windy.
Yeah, it is. Actually, something on the freeway almost hit me.
Oh.
It was like a big chunk of fencing. Scared me. In fact, I ducked and Ren goes, "What happened, my little guy?" And I was like, "Did you see that thing flying across the freeway?" It didn't hit my car, but it scared me to death.
Yeah, I don't like that when I'm in the car and things come flying at you.
Yeah,
that is
it was scary. But anyway, so it's windy today.
It is windy today.
So anyway, and I don't finish a ton of quilts in a year. I'm not a fast quilter. Sometimes I do a little bit better than another. So let's say on a year I finish 6 quilts. If I learn to machine bind, I only practice that 6 times. So I needed to really focus, and I needed to commit and just say, you know what? I have to do this. That's the only way I'm going to get better at it.
Good for you.
So, and I don't machine bind everything.
Right.
But it's an option for me, and I've practiced now well enough that I feel like my bindings are good enough.
Good for you. I love the hand.
Yeah. And some people do.
Because I don't give myself permission to just
sit.
Slow it down, but still be doing something. That's kind of my decompression. I can sit and I can bind. So I love to hand bind. But it's not always practical either. So like there's lots of different methods to machine stitch your binding down. And we'll do, did we ever do the magic binding trick yet? Have we done that? We'll have to go back and kind of think about
There's 100 things plus we've talked about in the last little
100 things, right? So who can remember? Not I said the little red hen.
Karen says, I want to learn more about my serger and use it more. I love that as a goal.
Good job.
Great idea.
Good job.
So perfect.
I pull mine out if I'm doing pillowcases or pajama bottoms. Other than that, I don't use it so much anymore.
So when my mom was on her mission, I babysat the serger.
Oh.
And so I had the serger for just a little while. I made my girls a couple of leggings and a skirt and stuff. But I actually tried a couple of my quilts. I serged the edges before I bound them. And it was actually okay.
Okay.
It was okay. And I've heard of other people doing that too. So it wasn't enough to make me go buy my own serger.
Yeah.
But I tried it.
So my serger has to be about 40 some years old.
My mom's probably is pretty close.
Because when my girls were little, I made a lot of clothes and things for them. But in quilting, I don't like all that extra bulk in my seams. So I don't usually use my serger in there.
But I love that as a goal because you have something and you want to lose. So that would be another thing. If you have a tool or something.
And we all have some of those tools that we've bought, like let's say a specialty ruler. Okay, we've bought this specialty ruler. We've used it for one quilt and then we tucked it away in a drawer. Well, you spend a lot of money on those. So go through maybe your specialty
that
rulers.
could be a great goal.
That could be a great goal.
I want to make a quilt with this ruler or this technique.
I want to remember what I did with that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's actually something that I have on there too, is to learn a new technique. And I actually think this is going to be my goal this year, is I want to do a scalloped edge. I've never done one of those.
Oh.
And I want to do a flanged binding. I've never done a flanged binding either. So
you just do the magic one. You don't have to do the flange.
So we're gonna do that.
We'll do that.
So those are going to be my two goals this year. And the scalloped edge will probably just be one quilt. I'm not going to do it on every quilt I do this year, but I want to do it. I want to do it. So I think those are going to be my goals for this year, and you guys can help me keep accountable.
There you go.
Another idea I thought was, and this is all super flexible to just what works best for you, set a time of day that you want to sew, a day of the week, or an amount of time.
Nice.
So I want to sew for 15 minutes every day. I want to sew at 9 a.m. I'm going to sit down or whatever.
So Rolene, my old partner here at the store, she used to get a lot of stuff done. And I said to her, how do you get so much done? She said, Fran, every morning I go down to my sewing room and I tell myself, I have 15 minutes. She said, now sometimes my 15 turns into 45, but I set that time aside and I go down. Nothing else gets in my way. I go down, I set up my sewing machine, and I sew for a minimum of 15 minutes. And it's amazing especially if you don't have to put everything away, get it all out.
Yes.
You can actually get quite a bit done in 15 minutes every day, because you start adding those 15 minutes up over a week, a month, a year.
Absolutely. It makes a difference.
That's a lot of great time.
And I remember you telling that story before, and it was like, that's what she gave herself every day, right?
Every day.
I love that way of looking at it, that I'm going to give this to myself. This is permission I've allowed. Okay, let's see. We've got someone else who's coming, it looks like. Joe wants to learn to machine embroidery this year. Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Do you already have a machine, Joe, or are you going to buy a machine? What are you going to do? That's super interesting.
Yes.
So I have another idea. I've just written random ideas, but attend classes. Maybe you'd like to attend 2 new classes this year. Set some sort of small attainable goal. Attend a class somewhere. We're getting ready to launch our class schedule with our new space and stuff soon. So hopefully we can help you out with that if that's a goal, or attend a retreat, or attend 2 retreats in a year. So that could be something that could be really fun, especially if you've never done that, or you love that and you need to make that specific time.
Make it happen for yourself. Absolutely.
Another idea is organize a specific space in your sewing room, or organize a specific thing. So we're not saying do your entire sewing room, but maybe you'd like to organize your fat quarters. Maybe you'd like to organize your kits. And actually, I don't remember if I've mentioned this on here. I just cataloged all my kits. So I have a list of every kit I have, how big it is, do I have backing, yes or no? And then if I'm out and about, I can look and see if I need backing. And guess what? I found I have 2 kits of the same
good for you.
Guess what? I know I really like it.
So
it's super fabric.
I like your idea of breaking it down, because I have the gamma room, I have the basement, and my sewing room, the family room.
Yeah, you got some spaces.
I got some spaces, but I like what you just said about organize your fat quarters. So instead of me saying, "Oh gosh, I got to go in that gamma room,"
I get very overwhelmed. To the point of not doing anything.
Exactly. Then I shut down like, oh gosh, well, where are all those fat quarters? I don't even know. I kind of do know. They're everywhere. But I like that idea. So just say, I'm only going to do one thing. I don't have to take my whole...
You don't have to do the whole thing.
My whole 50 years of collecting all of this stuff. Yeah. I can do... I like that.
And if you want to break the goal down even a little bit more specific, you could say, I'm going to pick one thing a month. You could say, okay, so in a year, I am going to get 12 things done, but I'm only going to focus on one thing a month. So there's a lot of different ways to tweak this for your own.
I like
what works best for you. Because we're all so different in the way that our brains work, in the way that our spaces are, in the way that we have time, and everything's just so personal and unique. So we want. Oh, Joe says you inherited a machine. Oh, very good. That's the best way. So, anyway, so just like make this something that works for you. We're not going to tell you that you have to do it a certain way.
No.
Okay, another idea I had is to set up a regular time to sew with friends, either virtual or in person. So I've probably mentioned this here before, but my mom and my aunt and we sew virtually once a month. We are on our third project, I believe. And it's been so much fun.
And you know what I like about the virtual thing? You don't have to everybody pack up all their stuff and take the time to travel because your aunt and your mama live a little ways away.
A little bit away.
So that would be, okay, a couple of hours.
For me, it would be just a lot of, but the packing itself.
I know. I was going to say the driving is a couple of hours.
Right.
But then you've got to, and then, oh gosh, I left that ruler that I need for this project at home on my cut table. So everything is right there with yours. You're still all together.
Oh,
I love the virtual
It actually
thing.
works out really well.
I love it.
And if one of us needs to join a little bit late or leave a little bit early, we can do that.
Right.
But we actually do a little bit of both because
yes,
we sew together, we get it all done, and then we all meet at my aunt's house for usually a couple of days, and she has a long arm, and we sew our clothes together. We finish them up together.
I love it.
It's actually really, really fun. So, yeah, do that. And the other thing is you could even just set a goal of a project to do with a friend. So maybe you don't always sew together, but you say, hey, friend, will you help me motivate, or maybe we have the same kit, or maybe we've decided to do, and this maybe goes with the next one that I've got, is set a goal to make a project with all of your scraps or something out of your stash. And we have kind of done that with our projects.
And that is so rewarding to use what
I
you
love
already have.
It doesn't go away.
No.
I still have so much stash.
You know what happens? I think we smoosh our stash down in, and then when you take a piece or two out,
it just comes out.
What's left in there has room to spread out. And so it still looks like the same. But it's not, because you've taken some out.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So the very first one we all bought the same fat quarter bundle. And then we all bought some background fabric. And we all kind of put in our own little flair in it too. So that was our very first one. So that was fun to all kind of start with the same fabric and see how different they ended up.
They look.
Then our next one, the rule was we couldn't buy any fabric.
Nice.
So that was really fun. And they all kind of looked a little bit different. Then this one, we all have one piece of fabric. I think we needed 3 yards of it. It's in the sashing. And we all have that as the same.
Oh,
but they are going to look so different
because then
it was just a solid. Yes, so then it was adding salt. My mom did have to buy it just a little bit to fill in, but I don't think Gabrielle or I had to buy anything. And they're going to look so different. It was a solid fabric, but my mom's doing reproductions. I'm doing Sherry and Chelsea, and my aunt I think is doing hers is just kind of a tone on tone with it's going to be gorgeous. So there's lots of ways to do that as well. So make a project with all your scraps or stash. And I always think if you have a friend, it's
so
fun
much
to add
more.
it in.
It is.
And if you're doing it with a guild or something, that could be fun. But if you've just got one friend, you can make it. I don't know. Love it.
Yeah, I do too. That is a great idea.
Another idea is try a block of the month. Have you ever done a block of the month before? Try it. Or take one of your kits and turn it into a block
of the month. And that's what I was just going to say. So you can take any pattern that you have, any kit that you have, and say, oh, there's 4 flying geese. There's 3 half square triangle blocks. There's this, there's that. Okay, so this month we're going to do all my flying geese that go into that block. That's my block of the month for this month. So absolutely take some of your kits and see how fun, because then some of those big kits that seem overwhelming done. That's why block of the months are so fun, because you see this great big quilt and you look at it and it's like, oh, but that's a lot. But break it down.
Yep.
How do you eat an elephant? I don't ever eat an elephant, but
and
bite at a time.
Some people are really different with the way they feel about finishing their stuff. Like I know my mother-in-law, I think she was watching. if she has cut into a kit, it's kind of hanging over her. She's got to get it done. She's got to get it done. I'm not quite that way. But like, for example, this one that I'm doing with my mom and my aunt, I finished my assignments yesterday and I felt so accomplished.
Right.
Like, and I was able to pack that box up and put it away and I don't have to worry about it for another month. And I'm fine with that. Yep. That is fine for my brain. And it was like it was a way to get a sense of accomplishment in the middle.
And you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
You enjoyed it. So sometimes when we feel like we have to do things, it's not as enjoyable.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Again, do not do anything that's going to take the joy out of this.
Oh, no.
That's not the point.
No. We should be doing this because we love it.
Because we all know that we have 92 other things to do, right? If we're not doing this as a break, as joy, as service, however you want to look at it, then it just doesn't get done.
Something for yourself,
which needs to happen,
which we all need to take some time.
Another idea I thought of was try a club. So we've got a couple of clubs. Sorry, I think I need to call and make an appointment for my daughter. But try a club. So the nice thing about clubs is a lot of times they're work on your own projects, work at your own pace, but you have a set time to meet.
Right.
You have an instructor.
And everybody's doing the same. You're all doing the same thing. Like we've had embroidery clubs. We've had our little stitchy clubs. We've had
wool clubs.
So many clubs. We have a rug hooking club. We have a punch needle club.
We're going to start the tiny club.
So many clubs. So the cool thing about that is everybody, even though you're not all necessarily doing the same fabrics or the same whatever, you're all doing the same thing. So everybody, so much help you get from those clubs, from the people that are in the club with you, from the instructor. There's so much great advice in those little clubs. You will learn so much.
Yes. And we have people who just really love those clubs. They're super dedicated to those clubs. And the clubs are flexible enough.
Finish that.
Chit-chat. Oh, that's a great one.
You just come and you sit and you stitch and you visit with each other and you work on your own stuff.
Yeah.
So if you can find a club that suits your interest, go do that.
And they're not like mandatory. Like if you miss one, you've got a wedding or something going on, then
no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Oh, my mother-in-law commented. She said she's finding joy in learning how to use her featherweight. So that's great. That's what she took to Arizona. So
good.
She's sewing in the sunshine.
Well, we have sunshine today. I'm so happy. The gray skies are gone today.
Yesterday it was kind of gray in the afternoon.
Tired of the gray
and a rainy.
Gray.
Yeah, and it was dark.
Don't do well with gray.
So I have one more idea. And then we'll go through any other comments. And maybe Fran has more ideas I didn't write down. But one is maybe set a routine for yourself that you do a 5-minute cleanup every time you're in your sewing room.
Because you know what happens if you don't? When you go back in the next time to do something, you have to dig yourself in. And it's like, dang, I wanted to start on this, but I got to clean up this mess first.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. And I got a little bit behind over the holidays. And
didn't we all?
When I have deadlines, I throw cleaning out the window.
Exactly.
And so, the last several times I've been in my sewing room, I've tried my iron's heating up. I'm going to clean everything I can for 90 seconds, and it actually made a difference. But yesterday I had about 20 minutes and it was at the end of my sewing time and I didn't need to leave until a certain time, but I had finished kind of a good stopping point. And so I just took the time to clean. So maybe set a self routine for that. So I'm going to go in my sewing room on Monday mornings and clean for a half an hour, or I don't know. There's got to be a million different ways that you can work out that works in your brain, works for your schedule. But yeah, if you have, I think, and my aunt actually mentioned this when I asked her idea. She said, I'm so much more excited to go sew again if I know that my sewing room is clean.
If I don't have to go in there and clean up the mess that I left from the last time, if I can just go in there and work on what I'm excited to go in there and work on, it's so true.
And
so true.
I remember this several episodes ago, long episodes ago, we had all of our employees send in a tip. And one of our tips from, I can't remember who it was from. Lisa. It was from Lisa. She said, never leave your sewing room at a point that you're frustrated. Because if you know that you're going to have to come back and fix something, or you're not going to want to do that.
No.
So, I mean, there are some days that you say, you know what? I'm not
back away from it.
My brain is not in here. So there's days like that too.
I was there Sunday when I was trying to finish up Second Saturday stuff. I kept doing the
wrong
thing over and over again. But I knew I didn't have another time when I could do it. Normally, if that happens to me, I just say, you know what? I got to back off. Either the quilting fairies will come in and give me ideas on how to fix this, or I'm not going to be so tired, or I'm going to be in a better frame. So normally I'll walk away from it. I couldn't.
You couldn't?
No, because I was out of time. Because I spent too much time over Christmas break playing and having fun and making things for my girls.
Which was important.
It really was. And they loved everything. So it was important to me. It's what I wanted to do for them. And so I did get a little bit behind. So I knew Sunday was my day. I had to get it done because I had to write the email. I have to get stuff to me. I have to get stuff to Liz so Liz can do her job, and I can't wait any longer. So, but yeah, if you get to that point where you're like, there's that wall, or I've done this darn thing wrong 12 times, back away from it. Just, maybe your headspace isn't right there. Maybe you've got too many other things that you think you should be doing, or whatever your reason is. Sometimes, even though this is what we do because we love it, sometimes it can be not so lovely.
And sometimes my brain is just
not
elsewhere,
there. Exactly.
Or it's just not tuned in, or I am too tired or whatever. So, but also if you can think, okay, what will tomorrow, Liz, be grateful that I did today? So, try and help yourself out just a little bit. So Karen Christensen said, I always leave my project set up for the next step. That is a lovely way. So when you come in your sewing room that you're just,
I know right what I'm going to be working on. Oh, I like that, Miss Karen.
The other thing I like about that, Karen, is my memory is not sometimes what I thought.
Oh, you just wait, honey.
Well, I'll think, I'll remember. This is what I need to do next, and I walk in and I go,
where was I? Where did I leave off?
And
that is a great one, Miss Karen. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Anyway, there are probably a million different ideas that you could do, but we would love for you to pick something that you're going to focus on for 2025. And please comment on this video. Everybody who's already commented is already entered. So we continue to comment till Monday next week at noon, and we will enter you, and someone will win a shirt.
Someone will win a shirt.
Now, depending on what size you are, we're going to do a new order. So you may have to wait just a minute because we want to get you the right size. But we have a few over there, and if you happen to be that size, then we'll send it to you right away. But if not, you'll have to wait just a minute. But we promise it will come. It's an IOU.
It might be an IOU.
But Fran has something to show us.
I have something to show you. So I don't even remember, honestly, what year we did this. And I may have shown it already before. But every year, I have a lot of, I call them my ladies in waiting. And they're sitting very patiently waiting to be quilted. They're my own quilts. They're not store samples.
Right.
And so they kind of get
pushed to the wayside.
Right.
Because there's not a deadline.
And every year I say, this is my year that I am going to finish my
And this is
Sleeping
huge.
Beauty. It is. And I love this quilt. I absolutely love it. It just needs to be quilted, you guys. And for a long time, I'm like, ooh, how are you going to quilt that, friend? I know what I want to do with it now. I know how I want to quilt it. And every year it just kind of gets, if I get nothing else done for the year of mine, this quilt will be finished.
Okay.
2025,
2025,
guys. This is it. I have some other things that I really want to get to, like organizing my sewing. I really do. I need to do that this year. And I love your idea about pick a thing, do your fat quarters, do your kits, don't just look at it as the whole big overwhelming thing.
Let me tell you why I love something with a friend so much. I learned about body doubling. Have you ever heard about this body doubling? So it's something to do with ADHD, which I think I have a little bit. I have a lot of people in my family that have this, but body doubling is just the sheer fact of having someone with you helps you be more productive.
do you want to come and help me with
yes,
that? And I'll come help.
So my aunt came and helped me do my sewing room because, first of all, she's an amazing organizer, but just the fact that she was there.
Right.
Or
makes you do it.
And even my friend, I'm like, will you just come sit with me while I do the dishes or fold the laundry? Like, you don't have to help.
You don't have to do it.
Just sit there. Just be there. And I didn't know why that worked, but it is. It's a thing. Oh. It's called body doubling. So that's why I love to sew with friends, even virtually, because I think it still accomplishes the same thing. It's called body doubling. And so, anyway, there you go.
Well, and my daughter Donna, she offers all the time, Mom, let me come. And all my others do too, my other daughters. But my other daughters would just start chucking things.
Yeah.
And Donna wouldn't. Donna would be like, but Donna tried one time with my scraps.
Yeah. No, well, and you got to find a way because it's your space and your things and stuff like that. But there's got to be a lot of things.
Doubling. I didn't know about that. I like it. I like that a lot.
It doesn't work for everybody. I've told you about my friend that we tried to sew virtually. So she was sewing at her house and I was sewing at mine. I do it all the time. She could not handle it. She felt like she had to look at me the whole time.
To be watching.
I'm like, no. You don't have to look at me.
No.
We're just talking. And stuff, but she couldn't do it. So it doesn't work for everybody. Okay. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. That means she doesn't have my form of ADHD. So, okay. Joy says, my focus is finishing all these projects I want to free motion quilt. Confidence or bravery? I love it.
I love that.
Thank you, Joy. Yes, I love that. So that's perfect. That's, not everything in the world, but you have free motion quilting you'd like to do. Mm-hmm. And Karen says, wow, that is so much work.
It was, if you're talking about my quilt, Karen,
yes,
it really was. This is a Sue Garman pattern. And I mean, there's everything. There's all kinds of, this was a great scrappy quilt. I did choose a piece that was for my little sashing strips, and some of my pieces were planned, but most of it is just reach in your scrap bucket and pull it out and do it. And it was a lot of work. I love doing it. The quilt is absolutely amazing when you look at the whole quilt, but it just needs to be quilted. It needs to be quilted so I can really have it out and be like,
and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you will be so glad every time you look at it that you finished
it.
Dang,
it's been 50 years, girl.
Okay.
Good job.
I'm going to show in December that I've done my scalloped edges and my flanged binding or my magic binding. And Fred's going to show the quilt.
I'm going to show Sleeping
Beauty.
And
we would love for you guys to join. Maybe we should do a Village Vibes live party at the end of the year and have people come show what they've accomplished for the year. Would that be fun?
That would be way fun. And if you can't be here, because our sweet Marianne, she's in Florida.
But you could send pictures.
But you could send us some pictures. Absolutely.
That could be really
send us
fun.
Some pictures.
Village Vibes. What are we calling this? Yearly goal show and tell. Or something like that. That could be fun.
Could be a really
Help me
fun
remember that I
do.
said this.
Hey, wait, you got a notebook, right? Write yourself
I know.
We're
going to have, so let's see, that will be like episode 150-ish.
Yeah.
We probably won't want to have it at the very end of the year because that'll be crazy. But
maybe the beginning
of next year, January 2026, we could do it.
We could do it. Yes.
Hey, would you guys come if we did that? Oh, Pam says organizing scraps is the hardest thing for you.
Oh, organizing scraps is kind of hard. So some people cut them up into sizes and then
I don't like that.
I don't, you know why I don't like that? Because what if down the road I wanted to use that piece that I cut into a 2.5 and I really need a 3-inch square and I threw the other half-inch away.
But that works great for some people.
It does.
And there's
Bonnie Hunter.
Bonnie Hunter has a good method and Lori Holt has a really good method and they love it and swear by it. It just doesn't work for my brain.
I tried it and like I said, then I went and I thought, oh, this piece would be perfect in there, but it's a 1/2 inch too little. I'm really sorry I cut that all up. And it takes a lot of time to do that. But some people will do it by color. Some people will do it by themes. Like I have a big bag that's some Christmas. I have another big bag that's Halloween. And then I have some that's reproductions. So there's lots of different ways to organize your scraps. But I have a hard time with thinking about getting rid of my scraps because my favorite all-time quilts
are your scrappy
quilts. They're my favorites. And so I look at all my scraps and I think, yeah, but are you ever going to? But I might, and if I did, then I would.
And I am always so proud when I need something. I'm like, I need a brown, I need a black, I need a red, and I go to my scraps and I find just what I need. On the flip side of that is I'm always so amazed when I need something and I don't have anything that's the right color. So anyway, but Pam, I hope you can find something that works for you. I'd love to hear if that's going to be your goal. So,
and maybe Pam needs to come out and do show and tell with us. So my Pam lives in California.
I know. So she doesn't want to come to Utah in January. Do you, Pam?
She might. She could stay with me and Laurie.
Perfect.
I know. We'd have a it's a party.
Yeah.
We'd have a party.
I just think that would be really fun. And if we're all working, and we'll try and have maybe some check-ins over the next little year. Just check in, see how you're doing. Hey, and if you set a goal in January this year and in July you think, nope, this is not it. Totally flexible, please. We want this to be something that's helpful for you, that's happy for you, that is, you're making progress and you're attaining these things simple and attainable. I think that's the most important thing.
That's very important.
So, but it's also changeable. Or if you think, you know what, I did that goal for 6 months and I have accomplished that goal, I'm going to move on. So move on. But the year just always worked great for me. And, January to December is a nice round-ish number. So, so Pam says that should be a goal. So
good.
Okay. Well, we have chatted for a long time.
We have.
Because we've missed each other.
We have missed each other. There's been so much going on. So it's nice to be together again. So yes.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for joining. Have a great week. Work on some of those goals that maybe are good for you, not necessarily even ones that we have suggested, but something that that you've wanted to get to for a while. Make it happen for yourself. I'm going to.
I'm so excited.
I'm going to do it. This is my year. Like I said,
you're going to give this to yourself.
I'm giving it to myself. This is it. This is it.
Perfect.
So have a great week, everyone. Be kind to one another. What's our rule?
3, 5, 5, 10,
15, 20, whatever it was.
If you're within 10 feet, smile, and with your 5 feet, say hi to someone.
Say hi to someone. Make their day. So thanks everyone for joining us again.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.